Back in 2006, Dell acquired Alienware, who made some of the great computers, such as the Alien 51 that a lot of people like. Well, in my case, I was a PC builder.
And you'll need some type of splitter.
But now I actually moved to Mac just because of the editing. But I still like Alienware and Dell's monitors. So today, we're going to take a look at this monitor right here. This is the Alienware AW2725DM. And I think this is a perfect add-on monitor to my Mac Studio so I can have 3 monitors running at the same time. This is a 27-inch 2K monitor, not 4K, but it does have an IPS panel, which is great for viewing. On this video, we're going to unbox it and do some tests on it. But I will tell you guys, I'm not a gamer. So sit back and relax and let's get started. So here's the back of the box, and you can see that it will support up to 180 Hertz. We're talking about 1 millisecond of input lag. Now I know this monitor is not going to be great for HDR, even though it says HDR 400 on the box. It also has the adaptive sync. It will support AMD FreeSync and GeForce video card, so you can get variable refresh rate. All right, let's go and get this opened up and see what kind of goodies we get inside. All right, it comes with a lot of pieces in here. Let's go and get everything out so we can take a closer look. One thing I like is that it comes with all the cables that you need. And I must say they packed this monitor very well. And it looks like it has, you know, all the environmental free type of packing on here, which is good. Let's get this little monitor out. Easy opening, easy closing. It comes with everything you need in the box, such as an HDMI cable, a 1.4 DisplayPort cable, and it has that USB so you can plug this in and actually use it to charge up your phone through the extra USBs on the bottom of it. It doesn't have much paperwork, but it does come with this Alienware sticker, which is pretty cool. And of course the base and the monitor, which we'll take a look at in just a minute, but we need to start assembling it. And I like the fact that these monitors don't require screws anymore. All you need to do is just go ahead and snap it together, and then you just screw this little piece on, and now the stand is put together. Since I already have this apart, you do have your standard VESA mount right there, so you can put it on the wall. And then it has some connections right here on the bottom of it. And I like the fact that it has the power supply built in. There's 2 HDMIs, there's your display port, and that's that USB. And there's 2 more USBs here on the bottom. Plus you have this little joystick right here to get through the menu system. And when I was checking this out at Best Buy, I would say that this monitor has everything I need. And here's the thing. I'm not trying to promote Best Buy, but these are normally selling for $269. So when said and done, I was able to pick up 2 of these for $450, and I have the Best Buy warranty, so they're going to be protected for the next year. Now from the top camera, you can see the ergonomics of it, and it will turn from side to side so you can find the best viewing angle. Plus you can angle it back and forth. And personally, I really like these ergonomics, and I like the fact that this is blue in color. And since I use an Apple Studio for my main display, the stand is not adjustable, so I can move this up and down so I can match the height of that monitor. With that being said, let's get everything plugged in and see what it looks like. Before I show you some testing, let's take a look at everything that's plugged into the back. I'm going to be using a PS5. Here's the monitor, and over here we have a gaming PC with the RTX 5060 graphics card. So on the PlayStation, we just have the HDMI plugged in right here. I have the USB plugged into the back of the PC, as well as a display port. And on the back of the Alienware, we have a power cord, a HDMI display port, and the USB. And that's so we can check out the power connections on the bottom of it and see what it's compatible with. Now, when you first get this monitor, you need to set it up. So there's a few screens that you need to be aware of. Now on the first screen, we can choose our different languages, and then you can press the center button. And you can also enable USB charging, as you can see right there. And when you press this button, you do have what they call Alien Vision. And we have Vision 1 that shows a little bit of box around the background, and you get a crosshair. If you go to Vision 2, it actually shows a heat map. And when you go to Vision 3, it shows another crosshair, but you don't have that blurry background around it. And this is for gamers out there who wants to get the most accurate targets whenever using this monitor. And there's a lot of settings in here, such as game, brightness, input, display, picture-in-picture. You can go to the menu and personalize it, as well as some others and more information. In other words, this monitor is fully loaded with every setting that you could think about, even though it's not full 4K resolution, which is okay for gamers out there. Now let's do some basic testing so you can see how this monitor actually performs. The first thing we need to do is just go right here into the settings, and you can see that it is supporting 1440p. Also, if you go down to advanced display, you can see right now I have it set up at 60 frames per second. Now if I go back to display, there's also options for HDR, as you can see right there. So let's go ahead and do a test here. I'm going to pull up a video and we can take a look at what the HDR will do with this monitor, and this will be applicable to games as well. So here we have the TechSteve testing channel, and as you see here, the resolution is showing 4K, and as I drop down, you can go to these different resolutions. But watch this. If I go into the monitor here and turn on the HDR, the screen will go dark for a moment as it resets. Now once it resets, I can minimize this, and you can see that it shows 4K still. If I refresh the screen, now it's showing HDR. And if we look at the resolution, as you can see here, everything is HDR. So if you want to watch HDR content on this monitor, you can do it. And it's going to be great for most people because 400 nits is not the brightest, but it is a way you can view the content. Now let's check out the frame rate on this monitor. So right now it's at 60 Hertz. And if I pull up this test UFO version, that's what 60 Hertz looks like. At that top line, it's going to be a lot smoother. As you go down, you can see it gets a little bit more rocky. But now we're going to try out the 180 Hertz, but look how much more smoother this is in comparison. And this is a huge improvement for gamers because using a higher refresh rate is going to make your game a lot more smoother. You're not going to get that tearing and smearing that you would get on 60 Hertz monitors. So ideal, even though this is not a 4K monitor, you still can get some great results out of it. Now we're going to switch over to the PS5. Now one thing about this monitor, it doesn't have speakers on it, so we won't be able to hear any sound, but this is all about the screen quality of it. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the test. So right now I'm just testing out the 1440p to see if it can support SDR and HDR. But one of the cool things is whenever I first turned on the PS5, it actually popped up on the screen that it detected a second source, and if I want to switch. So that's a cool feature to have on a monitor because most monitors don't do that. They just do auto select. And this is interesting. Even though this is not a 4K monitor, it is showing some options for 4K. To give you an example of that, it's showing 4K at up to 60 frames per second and HDR supported. If we go over to 1440p, then we get 120 Hertz as well as HDR. And on 1080p, we're getting up to 120 Hertz as well as HDR. So instead of downscaling, this monitor is upscaling to do 4K, and I find that very interesting. And wow, this is amazing. Look at that, 4K, 60 frames per second. And since it's in HDR, you can't control the presets. But what I can do is go back and turn off the HDR, and then we can check out the SDR presets. And it's just toggling this from always on to off. We're still getting 4K, 60 frames per second, but then I can go into these preset modes, and you can do a lot of them like FPS, arts, and right now I'm finding this to be very impressive just for the fact that it can not only do the 1440p, but it's upscaling to that 4K. And there's also features in here like your brightness at 75%, you have your contrast. We go over here, we have dark stabilizer, and you can basically increase the black levels as you can see right there. And basically that's all the settings that are available in this monitor. And keep in mind, when you're using a PS5, according to the presets of the game, it will automatically adjust itself. So some games will be 1440p at 120 Hertz, other games will be 4K at 60 Hertz. And I'm gonna say the colors on this monitor are very, very good. Even though we can't hear any sound, look how good these colors are. If you're looking to save a little bit of money and get pretty good performance, the response time on this monitor is going to be everything you need for the average consumer. So in my opinion, if you've been looking for a monitor, I think this one's actually be great for the average person. Now, I'm not going to say it's OLED or anything like that, but from what I'm seeing so far, the fact that it can do 4K at 60 frames per second and is native 2K, I think it's everything I need in my editing studio. So I finally got everything all set up, and this is what it looks like. If you're interested in this monitor, they do make it in different sizes, and I'll leave all those links in the description below. But other than that, just want to show you guys a new add-on for the studio. And I want to also say I appreciate you guys. Thanks all for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.